Hello folks, Anita Rao here to discuss a very important transit. But before I do, I want to say a big thanks to those who have subscribed and to those who leave feedback. And for those who have not yet done so, please click that red photo icon on the right hand side. And if you wanted to book a reading or find me on social media, I've placed the links below. Yeah? All right. So let's get started. Saturn will first move into Aquarius in the early morning hours of April 29th, 2022 till July 12th, 2022. Then it will return to Capricorn due to its retrograde movement from June the 4th till October 23rd of 2022. Saturn will go back into Aquarius on January 17th, 2023 and remain there until March the 29th, 2025. Now, Aquarius is the natural home for Saturn, where Saturn feels most comfortable. For this reason, it is called Saturn's Multrikon house. Simply because Aquarius most closely matches the nature of the planet Saturn, more so than Capricorn even. Mul means root and implies that this is where the planet has its roots and therefore its natural home. And Trikon means a triangle. So of course the 5th and 9th sign from Aquarius have the same element, which is air. And Saturn performs very well in air, in the air element, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Saturn being a Vata planet, in other words, Aries, makes the air sign of Aquarius in sync with its nature. So the environment of Aquarius is nourishing for Saturn, as here Saturn feels at home and its roots are strong. Now, every sign has certain degrees where the planet owning the sign performs the best and gives good results. For Saturn, its mul degrees are between 0 to 20 degrees of Aquarius. So the results that Saturn gives now will be concrete and long-lasting. Now, why is Saturn and its transit so important? Saturn is, of course, regarded as the most dreaded planet and considered to be the greatest malefic. It is farthest from the sun and also the darkest for this reason. Because it moves so slow and takes 2.5 years to transit a sign and approximately 30 years to come back to the place where it sits in your sign, everyone feels the impact on a very deep, life-changing level. This making Saturn a powerful and significant influence in everyone's chart. It teaches us to accept our limitations, to develop patience, to respect universal laws, to cultivate detachment, and realize the right attitude. So, in this way, it can be also our greatest teacher. And once we align with its principles, it can bless us incredibly. Now, the essence of Saturn is basically to show limits, to show limitations. And in this way, Saturn's phases, its dashas, its antardashas, feel as if they constrict our growth and hold us back from realizing our dreams. And this is evident in astronomy also. Now, we regard Jupiter as the greatest benefic, and indeed it is. But there's another side to Jupiter. Due to its gravitational force, it has prevented other planets from reaching full formation. Jupiter's force and movement toward the sun scatters materials in all directions. Some of this material is sent toward the sun and some thrown out into space. Because of this gravitational clearing, Jupiter, in fact, has prevented Mars from growing to its full potential. If it had continued moving inward in this way, even Earth would not have formed wholly and completely. Saturn here became its biggest rival. Saturn moved inwards and caught up with Jupiter's orbit in space. And when they were both locked in as a unit, they reversed their migration course and moved back out. It is Saturn, in fact, that caused Jupiter to retreat, leaving behind enough material so that the inner planets can form, like Venus, Mercury, and Earth. And perhaps hence the friendship between Mercury, Venus, and Saturn. Earth is in exactly the right place in the solar system for life to flourish. But had Jupiter continued to move in that direction, this may not be the case. Locked in a gravitational dance with Saturn, Jupiter moved back into the asteroid belt. So in this way, Saturn's role in the solar system shows us that limitations are essential for life to develop in a constructive, in a healthy way. In fact, there's a saying by J. Krishnamurti that says the moment you pinpoint your limits, instantly you become limitless. Now, being limitless is not simply making a list of dreams and achievements, because this can actually make you feel a bit kind of gloomy and helpless when you count your limits in terms of what you did not achieve materially. The real limit, in fact, is the lack of learning from what life brings our way, right? So something to reflect on. All right, so let's get back into the astrology. Now, the primary result of a planet is always derived from the house and the nakshatra of where it is placed. Secondarily, we see which houses are aspected by that planet. So for instance, it is said that Saturn protects the house where it is placed and presents challenges to the houses it aspects. In other words, where it sits, you will feel you have to work hard to get good results. And where it aspects, you will feel the limits or the lack in that area of your life. Besides that normal seventh aspect, which all planets have, Saturn has two other special aspects, the 3rd and the 10th. The 3rd and the 10th are also Upajjhaya houses. The effect of Saturn's 3rd aspect is where we must make consistent efforts to see results. So see where the Lord of the 3rd house from Saturn is to see the possible outcome. Then there is a 10th aspect, the most powerful aspect, due to the fact that Saturn is a Garka of the 10th house. And so this is where the karma manifesting, this is where we see the karma manifesting in our lives for past actions and even for present actions. And so with these matters, we need to surrender to some extent. Also important to remember is that Saturn is a Garaka, the significator of 6th, 8th, 10th, and 12th houses, the Dusthana houses. All of them are Dusthana houses except for the 10th. So, field of action is the 10th house, both creating karma and both resolving karma, and where possible creating good karma. So now with this movement of Saturn, Aquarius themes will of course start to come to the surface. People may get more interested in community groups, humanitarian causes, secretive activities, learning the occult, and simplifying their lifestyles, having lifestyle careers. Saturn from Aquarius aspects Aries, Scorpio, and Leo. And it's going to be very strong. This is going to be a very strong Saturn transit in its initial 10 weeks into Aquarius. Here, it no longer receives the aspect of Rahu nor Jupiter, so it will be acting alone. And in the beginning of the transit, it will be situated in the Libra Navamsha, which is the 9th position from itself in Aquarius, which is excellent. And we'll come back to this position on January 17th, 2023. Now, Aquarius contains 3 nakshatras. As Saturn enters Aquarius, it will continue its journey through Dhanishta till 14th of March, 2023. The ruling deities for Dhanishta are the 8 Vasus. And they denote prosperity, they denote a good life. Dhanishta also alludes to being in tune with the rhythms of the universe, going with the flow, essentially. Controlling planet of Dhanishta is Mars, so here it is important to see the placement of Mars in your chart for results. Then Saturn moves into Shatabisha on March the 14th, 2023 till April the 6th of 2024. In Shatabisha, Rahu will impact Saturn's position and functioning ability. Now, apart from being known as the 100 Physicians and therefore carrying healing energy, Shatabisha is also known as the veiling star, suggesting the ability to see beyond the surface. In Shatabisha, we can get success if we take some risks and become innovative. It's a good time to pursue a higher education, buy real estate, get into contracts, etc. Controlling planet is Rahu, so taking leaps of faith is supported when Saturn is transiting here. Finally, Saturn will make its way into Purva Bhadra on April the 6th, 2024 and stay there until March the 29th, 2025 in the Aquarius portion, though it will continue to transit Purva Bhadra in the Pisces portion. And I'm of course going to speak more about it when that time comes. Yeah. Now, Purva Bhadra is what? It's Rudra energy. And it's one of the most fierce nakshatras. So you can experience some struggles here before achieving your goals. If you didn't cultivate good habits during Jupiter's transit into Purva Bhadra, then your hand may be forced to do so now, maybe because of life-changing circumstances, like early waking up regime, healthier diet, new spiritual practice, new fitness routine, quitting any addictions, and that sort of thing. This is a good time, actually, to look after the basics of life and place an emphasis on becoming more grounded. And the focus is on making sacrifices, on letting go with that which doesn't serve you, simplifying your life, and for some people, perhaps admitting your mistakes. So, now let's look at the transit and how it will affect you. Now, there are a few perspectives to give importance to when you're analyzing the effects of a planetary transit, especially one like Saturn. First, you should see the transit from your moon. According to me, that's I give that more priority than the ascendant. You should also see the transit from your ascendant, of course. And you should also see the transit from your natal Saturn to get the full picture. If you are in your sun dasha, see it from your sun also. Secondly, look at the Ashtak Virga points that Saturn gives for the sign of Aquarius in your chart. Is it 2? Is it 5? This will make a difference. Thirdly, see what dasha you are going through. So let's say you are in the dasha or antardasha of Rahu. When Saturn is in Shatabisha, whose controlling planet is Rahu, you will feel the impact most directly. Fourthly, see if Saturn is connecting with other planets in your chart. So for instance, it could be going over your Venus that is situated in Aquarius, which may bring some challenges in relationships. It could also mean a cooling off phase in relationships when it's very close to that Venus. Saturn return, if you have Saturn Aquarius in your chart, or Saturn opposition, if you have Saturn Leo in your chart, is also one that you will feel quite personally during this transit. And it could impact other planets by aspect. So, for example, you're going through a Jupiter Dasha, which is in Leo, your 10th house. So Saturn will now be transiting your 4th house of Aquarius. And this transit becomes very relevant for you, even though you're in Jupiter Dasha. Fifthly, you need to check the lordship of Saturn and see where it is placed in your chart to get a hint about what area of your life you will experience some challenges, some delays, and some limitations before getting a successful outcome. And finally, if you are in Saturn Dasha, Antardasha, or even Pratyantardasha, then of course Saturn's transit will affect you, will impact you directly. Now, the most popular Dasha system that astrologers use is called Vimshotri, but there are also Rashi Dashas worth looking at when you examine the impact of a transit, such as Saturn, such as Jupiter. And of course there's other nakshatra-based dashas also. Some that apply to certain individuals depending on what's going on in their chart. Like, for example, 10th Lord in the 10th house, that sort of thing. There's conditional dashas. So I would say look at all of that if you really want to sort of get the whole picture of how you will be impacted. Now I'm going to go through all the signs, and I'm going to give a very brief and a very general overview of what you can expect. Yeah. So, as usual, we start with Aries. For Aries, Saturn is moving into your 11th house. Fantastic transit. In fact, it's the best transit of Saturn, especially if you are Aries moon. Whenever Saturn transits the 3rd, 6th, 11th houses from the moon sign, it brings something new into your life. This could be a new interest, a new career, new skills, new hobbies, and of course new relationships. What I have found with these transits is that it's best to cling on to that which Saturn has brought in this period, moving through those 3 signs from your moon. So develop it, nurture it, build it. Because these circumstances and people will be useful for you when Saturn goes through the other 9 houses, where it can bring challenges in different spheres of life. And for you, this is doubly the case because after this transit, it's going to start, your Sati period is going to start. Yeah, so make the best of this 2.5-year transit. 11th Lord in the 11th house will be great for your finances, and it will be great for your career overall. Here you'll be interested in making gains, but be practical and focused with money matters. You can also relocate to a new place, as 11th is 8th from the 4th house, so a change of residence is indicated, but one that you will be quite pleased with. Here the 1st, 5th, and 8th houses are aspected by Shani, right? So given that the 1st and 5th are what we call dharma houses, you may experience some blockage with self-expression, some fears, some doubts at times. It can, however, make you very serious about your goals, and therefore it marks a time when you can achieve a lot in your life, in all areas of your life. You may, however, experience delays with education endeavors or childbirth at this time. Don't hesitate to take some chances and let go of the outdated, because this transit will bring lots of new opportunities in all areas of your life. Keep your focus on the new things that come into your life now, so they will show you a new life direction. then don't hesitate. Plunge in. Overall, a fantastic transit for Aries. Taurus, what is happening for you? For you, Saturn goes into your 10th house. It's a good transit for you, being Saturn is your yoke guard planet, right? Ruling the 9th and 10th house. Now you must take some action for results, though. It's great for your career. It's great for your status, prestige, recognition. Change of status may happen now in your personal life, in your career. A new career may be on its way, for example. This is the 9th, 10th Lord going to the 10th house, so your focus will be on increasing your status, your economic status, your social status in one way or another, perhaps through your career. Earnings should get a boost now. Taking advice from experts will be very favorable now. From here, Saturn aspects your 4th, 7th, and 12th house, so it can bring some challenges in these areas. Your place of residence, property matters, security needs will be questioned, and you may see some shifts here. If you're in a difficult marriage, you could see a separation or break now. The influence on the 4th and 12th houses can show a hidden vulnerability to judgment, to rejection, to control. So make an effort to only associate with people who are both kind and generally positive at this time. These houses also indicate the ability to enjoy life and let go into sleep, for instance. And therefore one needs a safe haven in one's life and an unstressful lifestyle to manage this transit. Yeah. Your dreams actually also can give you clues at this time. Overall, it's a great transit for you, Taurus, to restructure your life, especially if you want to restructure your career. Yeah. Gemini, what is happening for you? Saturn will move into your 9th house now. You will reform some of your beliefs for the better at this time. If you wanted to go abroad, it's an excellent time for that. If you wanted to pursue higher education, university learning, increase your knowledge in some way, then you will have opportunities to do this. And the knowledge and skills that you gain at this time will be very helpful for your career, and it may also change your outlook for the better. It's also a great time for any kind of self-improvement activities. You may meet a guru or advisor, a sort of a guide at this time that will bring some positive changes into your life. Now, Saturn from the 9th house aspects the 11th, 6th, and 3rd house. So this could manifest as some obstructions, meaning you may have to make some extra effort to succeed. It's also important to maintain good boundaries with your siblings during this transit. Aspect to the 11th means good earnings, and they will increase over time. Yeah. Okay, Cancer, what's happening for you? This can be a bit challenging for you if you're a Cancer moon, as this is your Ashtama Shani transit, meaning you can expect some sudden changes, some unexpected changes. Being that it's the 8th Lord in its own house, I think by the time that this transit ends, you will see the transformation that has taken place in your life was in your benefit. And it will be, because this is where Saturn does very well. So don't resist the changes, if possible. Your beliefs could change quite suddenly as well during this transit, maybe because of a sudden event. Your career and life path will get completely transformed. You can experience some stress in relationships, though, including some like ego clashes with your partner, or if you're married, with your in-laws. You may also get interested in occult studies, including astrology or any other like research-related topics. When Saturn aspects the 2nd, 5th, and 10th houses from that 8th house, it can create insecurities about expressing yourself. So develop some confidence in the value of your words, and develop some confidence in the value of your deeds. that will be important now for this transit. Yeah. Leo, what's happening for you? This transit is happening in your 7th house. It's the 7th lord in the 7th house. So this could be a life-changing transit for you. It would certainly get you to be serious about relationships in your life. And you will only give your time and energy to those relationships that have long-term potential. Whether it's personal, whether it's business, whether it's social. It'll be a time when you're forced to review all of your relationships and disregard those that are not working. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Due to the Sash Yoga, the relationships that remain after this transit will be beneficial for you, as you would have been very practical and discerning, and therefore avoided relationships that bring drama, that bring uncertainty. This being Saturn's Multrikon position, it's a time when you will forge relationships with people that would be in your life for a very long time. The issue of intimacy versus independence can arise at times, however. So you will need a relationship that offers a balance of closeness and personal freedom. Of course, Saturn in the 7th house from your Lagna is its Digbala position, meaning that it will allow you to withstand problems, and it will allow you to create a resilience in you, especially when it comes to relationship matters. Saturn in the 7th is also good for making a relationship official, because it promises endurance in a relationship and longevity. Yeah. Of course, Saturn in the 7th can also delay marriage until Saturn's maturity, which is between 36 and 39. So the delay can actually happen until you're 40 or so. But of course, when you get married, it will be a solid union. It will be an enduring union. Due to Saturn's aspects on the 1st and 4th house, from here, you may need to work on healing some self-esteem issues, abandonment issues maybe, from early upbringing or from your life experiences. This is a good transit for your career, and it's also a good transit for forming business alliances too. You may also get inclined toward your business more, either create a new business or develop the one that you already have. And if you thought about relocating abroad, good time for that too. Yeah. Virgo, so for you, this is a great transit. You're having Saturn in your 6th house. Whenever Saturn transits the 3rd, 6th, 11th houses from the moon, it brings something new in life. It could be a new interest, a new career, a new skill, a new hobby, and of course, new relationships. With these transits in the 3, 6, 11, what I've found is that it's best to cling on to what Saturn has brought in these 2.5 years. So develop it, nurture it, build it, because these circumstances, these things, these people will be useful for you when Saturn goes through the other 9 houses, where it can bring some challenges in different spheres of life. This transit will make you focus on your work. It will make you focus on your health routines. So get checkups with doctors if you notice anything unusual. It's a good time to travel. It's also a great time if you're a lawyer, because you can get successful outcomes for all kinds of disputes. It's also a very good time to educate yourself in medicine or anything healing. Here Saturn aspects all of the Sthana houses, 3, 6, 8, and 12. And where learning to navigate obstacles becomes very important. So take lots of breaks if you get tired. Donating your time and effort towards selfless service can be very rewarding during this transit also. Maintaining, cultivating good health and good habits and a positive attitude will go a very long way for this 6th house transit of Saturn. Yeah. Libra, what's happening for you? For you, Saturn is moving into the 5th house. So perhaps there will be more responsibility towards your children in this phase. Romance may take a back seat, and you may become more interested in furthering your education or furthering or developing more skills. It's a good time for taking loans to educate yourself or even your children. You could see big career changes also at this time. It aspects houses 7, 11, and 2. So money, pleasure, social life, serious relationships. So here you can feel some lack. Saturn here can indicate a variety of relationship issues that may pop up. Delays or obstructions to forming relationships, being distant in partnership or having distant partners, or commitment issues. Try to make time for fun, as Saturn's position here may hinder this in your life at the moment. Scorpio, what's happening for you? For you, Saturn is moving into the 4th house, creating a Sash Yoga, and therefore it could bring new property or new residence. Saturn itself represents construction. However, look out for your mother's health. Stresses can come in your home or domestic life. You could, however, travel a lot at this time. And if you did travel a lot, you'll get some relief from this transit, as you'll be away from home and the stresses that could come up at home. When the 6th, 1st, and 10th houses are impacted by Saturn, and here that will be happening by aspect, you may find it difficult to take action at times. If you have a firm routine, good habits, you'll find it much easier to manage this Saturn transit in your 4th house. Self-judgment is a common theme in this Saturn 4th house transit, and also our feelings of isolation, anxiety, sometimes the inability to count on others. So try to be around supportive people as much as you can now. Sagittarius, what's happening for you? Well, for you, Saturn is going into your 3rd house. It's a very good transit for you. You'll feel a big relief from that very difficult Sadhisati transit that you have experienced for the last several years. Whenever Saturn transits the 3rd, 6th, 11th houses from the moon sign, it brings something new in life. This could be a new interest, new career, new skills, new hobbies, and of course new relationships. What I've found with these transits is that it's best to cling on to whatever it has brought into your life in this period. So develop it, nurture it, build it. Because these circumstances, these people, these things will be useful for you. And Saturn goes through the other 9 houses where it can bring challenges in different spheres of life. With this 3rd house transit, you could travel frequently. It's also a good time to focus on new hobbies and interests. If you wanted to start a business, then this could be a favorable transit for you. With Saturn's aspect on the 5th, 12th, and 9th house, be careful of being too skeptical about others, about yourself also, and doubtful. At this time, try to keep your mind grounded, try to keep your mind open, and go with the flow. Capricorn, this transit will feel like a big relief for you. Being a Capricorn moon especially, you are in the last phase of your Sadhisati now. In your 2nd house, Saturn will make you focus on saving money, taking care of family matters. Your relationships could go through some changes, especially your family relationships. As it aspects the 4th and 11th houses, Saturn impacts friendship and happiness during this transit. You should choose your friends wisely now. Let the right ones in. And learn to receive, but beware of social isolation, as this could happen very easily now. You may also see fluctuations with money as it aspects the 11th from the 2nd house, so be vigilant about saving. The 2nd and 4th houses also have to do with one's sense of well-being, fulfillment. So Saturn influencing both of these houses can be unsettling, and it can create the need, it can create the urge and the need to work hard to find inner peace, and also to build towards a life that has more fulfillment, more self-worth, and more centeredness. Aquarius. Saturn is moving into your house. In your ascendant, it can bring some health issues. And of course, for the moon, you are now in the heart of that Sadhe Sati. So you may be feeling some pressure during this transit. If you're on the wrong path in life, this will bring a big transformation, especially if you're an Aquarius moon. You would also need to cultivate a realistic approach toward relationships if you want them to last at this time. So perhaps you may have to be more compromising and let the other person have the upper hand. Your focus will be yourself during this transit to find new meaning in life. You could experience a sort of an awakening at this time, yeah. But be mindful of health and money-related matters, because they can experience some challenges here. Saturn will aspect your 3rd and 10th house. So you may also change your career at this time. You will, however, likely want to go it alone with all areas of your life, and you would want to go it on your own terms also, without the support of others, which can be good at times, especially if you're going through a transformation and you're figuring out the basic details of your life, you know, the foundations of your life perhaps might be changing. Your energy levels will also be up and down, because this can create like a vata imbalance, and it can create sensitivity to cold at this time. So be cautious of that. It's a life-changing transit for you, Aquarius. So it's important to keep the faith. Pisces, for you, Saturn will go into your 12th house. You'll be completing matters before the 1st house transit now. So it's a time of finishing pending tasks in your life. You'll also be forced to go inward. You know, you might also become isolated at this time to figure things out. And in this way, you may develop a deeper interest in spirituality. If you wanted to relocate abroad, then actually it's a good time for that. Be careful with your finances, though, and your expenses also at this time. From here, Saturn aspects the 2nd, 6th, and 9th houses. 9th and 12th are long-distance travel, so it could bring a lot of journeys and even foreign residence. But there could be some tough adjustments at first. Yeah, so be mindful of your health and be mindful of your diet during travel. The 6th and 12th houses can indicate patterns like addiction, health issues, deep fears, debts, losses, and in this way bring suffering. So it's important to have healthy life routines at this time, and also avoid risky financial behaviors during this transit. Yeah. So that's all for now, folks. If you liked the video, please feel free to share your comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. All the best to everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.